Welcome, everyone, to episode 11 of the Chris Perish podcast, where, yes, the graphic shows that we now have two hosts. We always had two hosts, but it's now banner approved. Joshua Joseph is with me as we have Sierra Suku. Hopefully, I pronounced that correctly. Saying hello. We're saying hello back. Thank you for joining. We have our friend, our colleague, Chris Best joining us. How are you doing today? And yes, what you heard was the beautiful song done by Downstate. Want to give them a shout out, a thank you for the new theme song to not only the Chris Perish podcast, but also me as a professional wrestler. So go and check that out. We'll be debuting that shortly. Sierra says, yes, you said it right. Nailed it. It's always good. The Chris Perish podcast is also in strong affiliation with Turnbuckle Studios, where Turnbuckle Studios can be seen every Monday night at about 8 p.m. Eastern Time with the Raw Patrol, and what is being kind of renamed to potentially the Routine Check, which is a 3-hour, basically it's us all watching Monday Night Raw, and we're talking about what's going on. But yeah, come check out as the Raw Patrol is surveilling the wrestling scenes every Monday night for the 3-hour time slots. And then they're live with Turnbuckle Talk 805 on the Turnbuckle platform, especially that new YouTube channel, Turnbuckle_Studios. Go check that out. The like, the follows, the subscriptions, all that good stuff. Joshua Joseph, you have a show right before Monday Night Raw.
I do. It is the Raw recap and review show where we, me and my co-host Bubba Duke, we sit around and we recap 3 main stories from the previous Raw, and then we get you ready for the 3 big stories coming up on the Raw. And then we raid on out to the Raw Patrol because, well, we like to help each other out. It's a fun circle.
And if you'd like to help out the channel a little bit, make sure you go to rogueenergy.com. You go and check out what they have, and then when you select what you want, you go to your cart. And then I'll ask you for a promo code. That's right, use the promo code PERISH, PERISH. That'll help the channel out because it'll also help you save 10%, and a little bit of that kicks back to the channel. That would be greatly appreciated. But yeah, we are 6 days away from now Elimination Chamber, and I want to know, what are you looking forward to about the Elimination Chamber, as again we're 6 days away now. Everything is shaping up. Just a little recap of the show. We have both a men's Elimination Chamber that will feature LA Knight, Bobby Lashley, Randy Orton, which pretty wild. But we also have Logan Paul is in that match as well. Just this is going to be great. We have Drew McIntyre as well, and not mistaken, the who's the other one there? Are you?
I'm drawing a blank because I've been focused on the women's mostly.
I mean, that one's going to be a banger as well. But I'm pretty. I know Drew is the only Raw guy. Everybody else is SmackDown. But yeah, we have what did I say? LA Knight, yeah. Bobby Lashley. We got Drew McIntyre. We got Kevin Owens. That was the other one. Yeah. So, and then on the women's, we have 5 out of the 6 so far. We have Tiffany Stratton. We have Becky Lynch. We have Bianca Belair. We have Liv Morgan, and I'm drawing a blank on the 5th already. I don't write things down, people. I should. I'm not responsible.
Yeah, we definitely don't do this. That's good.
But yeah. But I do know, before we get back to that, we do have we have Becky, Bianca, Liv. We have Tiffany, and
you have Naomi.
Naomi, there we go. Yeah, new theme song for her as well, by the way.
Yeah, and we're waiting on a 6th.
Yeah, we're waiting on a 6th, but I believe there is a Second Chance Battle Royal coming up on, is it Monday on Raw?
I believe so. Yeah, it would be this Monday.
Yeah, so tomorrow there'll be a second chance battle royal to determine the sixth and final competitor in the Elimination Chamber. That will be the number one contender for Rhea Ripley, who happens to be defending her title against Nia Jax. We have the Judgment Day going up against Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne.
One quick correction: it will be the final entrant will be determined at the last chance battle royal this coming. Yeah, you're right. Monday Night Raw. They had a SmackDown thrown in there. Must have been an error.
Yeah,
but yeah. So we'll figure that out. Should be exciting.
Yeah, what are you looking forward to, and what's kind of something that like has piqued your interest? Because this looks like a card that just as a couple weeks ago we're wondering, where are we going with it? But it's shaping up real quick.
Well, honestly, first and foremost, what I'm really looking forward to storyline wise is the women's elimination chamber, because we did speak about it from the past 2 weeks. That the women's storyline is the one that's got the grip on the audience right now. There's so many options and so many good things that they could come out of their elimination chamber and things like that. The men's, I'm looking forward to it. I mean, it's going to be epic. It's going to be awesome. You got Drew McIntyre being in there. Honestly, Drew he's either making a play for himself for another promotion, or he's going to show them why he needs to be here in the WWE. So I'm looking for a big performance from him. Of course, Randy Orton being in there. I am a Randy Orton mark. I cannot wait to see him in the Elimination Chamber again. I love a lot of the stuff he does, as he has done throughout his career. But I would say the biggest thing that I'm looking forward to is the Rhea Ripley Nia Jax match.
Yeah.
I just honestly, those are two performers right now. Throw out the men or women, just as performers. They've actually made it to where I'm excited for that match, especially since it's going to be in Perth. So Rhea's going to have her big moment, right in front of the hometown. And Nia Jax has been working her ass off to get better and better and show that she's actually something that the fans need, that should be drawn to. So I'm excited mostly for those things.
And what's I think very impressive about Nia Jax coming back is you just see not only the confidence, but she doesn't rush things. Yes, I think very noticeably she's in much better shape and ring shape, which you can look like $1,000,000. You can have the 24 pack like The Rock has alluded to in the past, and why he doesn't have one. But there's also a ring shape, because you need to be ready to go in the ring, and sometimes you can look like, and then this is no shot, but you can look closer to the size of a Bray Wyatt, God rest his soul, and go for 40 minutes, or you can look like a Randy Orton and go for 40 minutes. Those are completely different types of body shapes, but at the same time, they're in ring shape. And because of that, they're able to perform at a high level. Nia Jax is performing at the highest level she has ever performed, and it's amazing to see, because she is a true monster in the women's division, and now she's providing that foe for Rhea Ripley, to where she can't just go through everyone. Now she has somebody she looks up to. She's not bigger than, and now she has a mountain to climb, and her name is Nia Jax. I think that is a very imposing matchup. She's not called the Irresistible Force for nothing, but it is going to be interesting to see what the Eradicator, the hometown hero in the show, Rhea Ripley, because she is from Australia, kind of just what she has in store. And it's going to be a very intriguing match for sure. And just so everybody is known, the start time to Elimination Chamber is much earlier. It's going at about, I believe, 4:30 Eastern next Saturday. So yes, if you want to watch watch it live, you're going to have to be up very early.
Set those alarm clocks.
But yeah, and then it's almost like that women's Elimination Chamber is still just wide open, and it's almost very similar to the Royal Rumble match they had, because you had a very much more of a clear understanding picture of, you know, who's winning in the men's. Yeah, you could make a case for a couple others because it's fun to just narrate it, or just to narrate and just build your own narrative for something, but you knew it was either CM Punk or Cody Rhodes, and sure enough, it came down to CM Punk and Cody Rhodes. A lot of us had Bayley, a lot of us heartstrings, we wanted Bayley, but we could make a case for a Liv Morgan, we could make a case for somebody else, and it wasn't necessarily a guarantee, because we could have seen something interesting story-wise happen with Bayley. Chris Best coming in saying, when watching the 2021 Elimination Chamber last night, Nia and Shayna defended the women's title. The difference between Nia then and Nia now is totally night and day. And that's 100%. Someone who, when they went away, really took it, like really got away and really worked on them. And it was amazing. I mean, I was there for when she returned at the Rumble for the one-off, and even then you started seeing a little bit of a difference, but nothing compared to what we know now. And it's just, you can tell it with the performance of with Nia. But that Elimination Chamber, you can make a case for Liv Morgan, you can make a case for Tiffany Stratton. It's actually very intriguing for Tiffany Stratton because it's very fresh, it's very unknown, it's a very, well, this could be a great way to build a new star. But then you also have your Bianca Belair. Bianca and Rhea is just a powerhouse matchup for right there. Becky versus Rhea is a powerhouse matchup. Naomi is an interesting one, because how is she going to be used now coming back? And that, to me, is very intriguing. But then you also got this second chance battle royal. Is it going to be somebody that, you know, lost a qualifying match, or is it somebody who is going to enter it, like maybe a Jade Cargill, who I would love to see, because imagine if we got Rhea versus Jade at WrestleMania. That would be big.
It would be big, and I mean, I would not turn down watching that match. Honestly, that would be, I mean, that to me, that's the match that people have been most excited for when they heard about the possibility of Jade coming. Her and I'm drawing a blank on her name. Belair. You know,
Bianca.
Yeah, Bianca. If those were the two matches that I heard the most talk about when the name Jade was thrown into the mix of the WWE. And honestly, I wouldn't mind either one of those matches, but what match do I want first? I don't know, because what have we seen from Jade so far? We've seen her in the Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
And we've seen promo of her.
Yeah. I mean, we saw her on SmackDown, where she didn't sign the contract to SmackDown just yet. And that could be a very telling statement, or it just means that we have to have a longer wait and see approach with Jade, which I'm very okay with.
Yeah.
But
the just one, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, like with Nia, the criticism of her before she came back.
Yeah.
Let's be fair, and let's just say that what have we seen physically from Jade besides the Royal Rumble? You can hide so much in a Royal Rumbles match, way more than a singles match. All I'm saying is, don't get me wrong, I am so excited Jade is here in the WWE, but I want to see something from her.
Yeah,
and and this would be a perfect opportunity for us to see something.
And that's very fair, because I think this is coming not from a, oh my God, she's not that good in the ring, to more of, I want to see her do well, and I want her to be put in positions to where she grows in a natural environment and becomes the star that we always thought she knew, which is more 100%. I know the approach you have right now, and it's a very valid one. But I'm more of the belief that this is just pro wrestling, and
Okay.
You got to swim with the sharks
Yeah.
if you want that treasure at the bottom of the ocean. And
100%.
sometimes this is a case where, okay, we're talking WrestleMania. You're not going to get layups if you're going to be the everyday star.
Yeah.
But there's also situations, and I can look at past examples where, yeah, maybe it was a one-off with an athlete or a celebrity where they had a very good showing on just a one-off. You look at Bad Bunny, you look at Lawrence Taylor, you look at Johnny Knoxville.
Yeah.
In all different ways, they had a great one-time showing at WrestleMania. And to me, I think Jade Cargill has everything it takes to have a great showing at WrestleMania. You look at the entrance she'll have, you'll think of how she's just being in front of 50, 60,000 people, just looking like the star that everybody knew she could. And we all know WWE is perception first, right?
Yeah, very true.
And which is not a bad thing. It's just the way it is. It's just a much larger than life business. But then we get the match. Then we get the spotlight. You put her in with somebody, in my opinion, like a Becky Lynch or somebody who's a little bit more rounded. And the reason why I say Becky Lynch, and I don't have Becky Lynch in my personal opinion wanting to win the Elimination Chamber. If I was putting money on the line, I'm picking Becky Lynch to win the chamber. That's my money bet. But my personal bet is I'd have Bianca Belair win, simply because Bianca Belair and Rhea Ripley are the two faces of your women's division for the next 10 years. And just like Rock and Austin were at one point the two faces of that company, you need WrestleMania moments to make that feud iconic over time. And I think you just start that now when you have the opportunity. And if you want to do a monster double turn at WrestleMania, Philadelphia is the place to do it at.
Yeah. And plus, I like that idea because let's get it to us as quick as possible so we can get the long-term effects of it. They can sprinkle it in later on throughout the years, like you alluded to. The next 10 years, I mean, if those women stay at the top of their performance and their health and everything, yeah, I could easily see them be in the top for the next 10.
Yeah, and there's no reason why. You're looking at Rhea Ripley on an everyday basis. She is the star. She's getting the monster reactions. She's getting those opportunities. She's been champion for just shy of a year now.
Yeah.
And then you look at Bianca Belair, who has that show with Montez Ford now, kind of like the new age Total Divas, Total Bellas type thing, or Miz and Maurice, like following those footsteps. So she's becoming a bigger star outside of wrestling as well, which means she's now kind of becoming a little bit polarizing in the sense of how big she can be viewed from a worldwide audience.
Very true.
And then you have Rhea most likely main eventing Elimination Chamber in her home country. And she has the power on her own to go to Australia and be a main event star.
Yeah.
That is the size of stardom we now have with Rhea Ripley. So to me, it's great. And now it's like, okay, how do we make this bigger? Well, you have two forces meet. The mega powers collide. That was always bigger than the mega powers together. So I don't personally, that's something I would do. I think Jade Cargill versus a Becky Lynch scenario, still a big money match. And I think if she was in the Elimination Chamber, I know the question that will come up, well, how is she in and not win? And I thought about this. What happens if it just takes 3 people to hit their finisher moves on her? And the last one that does it is the one that she faces at WrestleMania.
I like it.
So
yeah, because you could go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, imagine a sequence where she's like in the ropes and Liv Morgan comes in, gives her that oblivion, and then then you see maybe like Becky Lynch come off with a leg drop, and then you just mix a spot with all these different finishes to where you're just trying to chip away at at Jade, and like she doesn't look any worse for wear when she's getting beat up by 3 people, like taking 3 of the top people in your company. That's what it took to get her out. I think that makes you look pretty much a larger than life person.
No, that's 100%. And with her, with doing that, that's how you set up the Becky Lynch versus Jade. That's how you could get there, and that explains the why. And then honestly, at WrestleMania, if you have that, you let Jade get over Becky at WrestleMania. You let Jade get over all the women that come after her up until she gets that championship match, because then you eliminate all the nonsense that I know as a fan I'm tired of, when a champion looks at a new contender and they're like, well, you haven't gone through A, B, and C, so why would you be looking at me? Well, it's Jade Cargill, okay? Let's just say why she would be looking at you if you're holding a championship. And that's the fantastic feat about these women that are in there, your Rheas, your Jades, all them, because they are larger than life superstars. And the fact that they have the look, they have the ability, they have everything about them. Put a mic in front of their face and watch them go, because I love a good mommy promo. I love when Bianca gets fired up and she's ready to go and she's telling you she's the EST of everything. Those are the moments. You get Becky Lynch coming back, cutting a bloody promo, because I believe Becky Lynch is going to go until she cannot go anymore, because that's what you've built her to be. So now that you have Jade coming in, I believe Jade carries that basic greatness that Charlotte Flair exudes from herself, and the ability to take what she wants. So with all those personalities, all those characters that you have built up and shown us, right now the WWE's women's market is one of the best out there. There is no touching it. Nobody's even coming close to what they have right now. And with Triple H leading the helm and everything, this is one of the first times, besides being a child and not understanding how wrestling goes, that I feel really comfortable knowing that they're going to entertain me no matter what.
I think this is kind of the first real, like, I know a lot of people allude to the bloodline and how it kept evolving and got better, and you're like, okay, that's the new WWE creative. But really, when we got like and I remember the first real big thing when Triple H took over was that SummerSlam, I believe it was in Nashville. And one of the big returns was Bayley came back, Dakota Kai joined her, and then Io, at that point, Shirai, later Io Sky, who we all thought was on her way out. Dakota Kai, as of 24 hours before, wasn't even with the company.
Yeah.
And there was immediate investment put right back in to the women's division. You had Bianca Belair finish her chapter with Becky Lynch, who then turned back to babyface. They brought the respect factor in, and you had that beautiful standoff from 3 and 2. It's like, okay, now who's going to join the other side? Okay, this is intriguing. We have a women's stable. Like, this is new. And then we, fast forward all of that. Now we have a beautiful storyline that is Bayley, breaking away from Damage Control, and Dakota Kai not sure where she sits, on what side of the fence she's going to sit on, because neither side kind of wants anything to do with her right now. So she's in limbo.
Yeah.
But then you're also seeing all this investment. We got all these people coming back, whether it's, or like we got Jade debuting. We have Jordan Grace coming into the Royal Rumble. We have the Shotzi's, the Scarlett Boudreaux's coming back. We got the Nia Jax's back. We have all of this investment. I know I'm missing more. Candice LeRae came back. Indy Hartwell was brought up. We're seeing this amazing introduction to Tiffany Stratton.
The explosion of Chelsea Green.
Yeah. And all this is being done, and we're not talking about Charlotte. We're not talking about the 4 horsewomen being the centerpiece.
Don't need to.
Because the one thing that Triple H always had when he was in NXT, despite how many times it kept being that revolving door where, okay, the heart of your division was getting called up, you got a new heart of the division. That was the women's roster. The women's roster always went smooth sailing, and it was just fantastic to watch. Just when you thought, okay, well, we don't have Charlotte, we don't have Sasha, we don't have Bailey anymore. What do we have? Oh yeah, you have Asuka. Okay, what happens when you don't have Asuka? Well, you got Ember Moon.
And I mean, that in itself was a great call. Ember Moon really held that NXT down at that time.
And to me, it's like, okay, well then after Ember Moon, okay, Shayna Baszler, then you got Rhea Ripley, and then it's just like, then it just snowballs to the next person. As right now, we're seeing Lyra Valkyria just kill it, absolutely kill it right now as NXT Women's Champion. And now that's going to be somebody in the next 3 years that we're going to see just have like an amazing performance on the roster. It's just always evolving. And I think that's something that under the Triple H regime, we're always going to get a very good constant women's division. And then you're just seeing in the news like Julia is on her way to NXT. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, come on. And yes, I know we could say the same with other companies like Impact, TNA. They have an amazing women's division. I think AEW is slowly figuring it out, and I emphasize the word slowly, but let's also emphasize figuring it out. But I mean, too, it's one of those things where
isn't a big of AEW's women's division, isn't it, Julia? She's a big part of it, Julia Hart.
Yeah.
And then you mix with what Toni Storm's doing.
Exactly.
Toni Storm right now is setting herself up for an invitation from WWE because she's doing matches, she's doing her promos on levels that women are not even touching in her area. And I mean, honestly, isn't that an attraction to the WWE roster? Is Toni Storm coming there and doing that stuff and then getting smacked by a Bianca or a Becky?
I think what makes anybody happy, and I think this is something that we've seen over time with WWE, is that there's going to be a time where maybe they just don't have anything for you.
Yeah.
But what's important to know for that performer is you can't get caught on waiting for something to happen. You have to make something of yourself. And somebody who's very famous of doing that was then known Zack Ryder, now known Matt Cardona, when he did the Z True Long Island story.
Very true.
And then, that gave him the opportunity. That doesn't always happen for everyone. I'm aware of that. But what that did do was get people to notice him. And that's what WWE eventually wants, is people to notice you. There was a time where they want you to get noticed on their ideas and their stuff. Now that has been shed away. That is not the thing anymore. They just want to see you. If you left, they want to see, how do you rebound? How do you get people eyes on you? Can you evolve? Can you adapt to something that didn't go right? And does that make you better? You look at people like Chelsea Green, for example. You look at a Drew McIntyre, a Cody Rhodes, Zack Ryder, now Matt Cardona, Deonna Purrazzo. Wow. Now we talk about somebody on the AEW, somebody that left WWE and just absolutely shed the light of what she was and became somebody completely new. There's a great example in the women's division right there.
Yeah, you're 100% on that. I mean, honestly, right now, the women's division, there's so many women who are taking their ball and running with it and trying to present themselves in a bigger light. And it's working for them.
Yeah.
It really is, because I mean, in the men's division, what free agents or what what up and comers are we talking about? I've heard Will Ospreay for better part of 4 months, and I mean, I can't wait for him to do some things and everything, but the women's are doing. They're not just talking, they are doing, and I'm enjoying it. It's fantastic to be from where we're from, going into wrestling and seeing what women's wrestling was back then to what it is now, and it's fantastic. It's everything I've wanted it to be since back then. I got tired of the divas and all that stuff. That stuff, whatever. It was in a position at what time it was. Big deal. We've evolved, we've moved on. This is where we're at now, and where we're at now in that division, I'm super excited for. I honestly cannot wait for WrestleMania to see where some of these stories either get to the next chapter, they come to an end, or they start new stories. So it's pretty exciting right now.
Yeah. And just so people know, yes, I'm having an issue with my webcam. That's why you're getting the glitches. I'm aware of it. I'm using now my laptop one. So that's why you got a little bit of a change. My apologies. Yeah, and I kind of want to even though like we're still talking Chamber, I do want to dovetail that just off to AEW just for a little bit, because their women's division very much intrigues me, and I think it's going to become one of the best parts of the product, even though you got amazing people. And I do want to dovetail on what men are we coming up, because I can also I definitely want to talk about that as well. But yeah, I mean, we're talking about the Deonna Purrazzo's, Timeless Tony Storms, the Julia Harts, and then you got the who's Sky Blue, who is just coming out and just doing a lot more with that. And then you're seeing kind of the evolution of Ruby Soho and Soraya. I'm really enjoying the slow pace story with them as well. And kind of, how they're going to eventually, break away. But what we're seeing substance. Yes. And with this being said, it's substance, and we're not talking about the girls that started it, which, again, just wait till the Chris Statlanders, evolve and become bigger and better. Just wait till the Britt Bakers come back bigger and better, because they're just going to add. Just wait till we see like a Mercedes Moné come and completely. I think she's going to attempt to do what Chris Jericho did for the company, but with the women's division. Add that star power that is badly needed, but is greatly welcomed. I know that was kind of the hope with Soraya, formerly known as Paige. But with her, there was so much of a time gap that it almost lost a little bit of the luster and became more of a nostalgic fact that, oh my God, business is going to be awesome. Mercedes Moné is at very least more of a current name. Maybe not so much active, but a current name.
No, it's
and a name people do talk about. And I think that is going to now finally give that women's division identity and understanding. And now you're going to actually have, it's like when you're a kid and you have random toys and you don't know how to play with them properly together, and then you start having an actual collection of one, instead of just having, I got one piece of Lego, I got one figure, oh, I got a block here, but I can't do anything with that. But then I got like 100 Legos, 100 blocks, 100 figures. Now I can have fun with them. Now I can enjoy my time and do something constructive. And I think that's what we're going to get. We're going to get some positive, constructive product out of the women's division now that we actually have, I'm going to say, closer to the right pieces.
No, I fully buy what you're saying. I mean, I've honestly been saying this stuff for a long time when I did the AEW watch-alongs and things like that. Willow Nightingale
Yes.
There's a name right there that she's honestly, like I've talked about many times before, she's one of them who's taken the ball that has been dealt to her, and she has done what she can with it. And like you said, she's making people notice her. She's becoming somebody they talk about. And then if you add the I guess it's a guarantee that Julia Hart's out. So you're taking that away there, which kind of makes sense why Sky Blue has been transitioning to what she's evolved into to now. And I could easily see Sky Blue kind of taking that spot from Julia with her leaving, and she could become a part of the House of Black. You know,
Yeah.
she could take that leadership role. I also could see Willow Nightingale just completely step up this year and have a very big singles run. And I loved what you said about Soraya and Ruby coming into their own, because honestly, Ruby Soho right now is becoming the Ruby Soho she always thought she was going to be once she got to that next level. And it maybe in the WWE it didn't work out, but she had her moments there. But now she has her moments, and she also has a say in what goes on. And with her linking up with Soraya, right there, like you said, I love what they're doing now, but I'm also like in the back of my head, I'm like, this breakup, this explosion is going to be awesome. And I know it's going to happen, and I'm kind of looking forward to it. I mean, I love what's going on now. So yeah, well, like you're saying, that this year, I honestly think women's division, women's wrestling in itself is going to have a bigger impact, a bigger moment in 2024. And it's just not one specific promotion that's going to do it. It's going to be a lot of them. And the ones that are creating and the ones that are making big names, maybe not in the WWE, if you really love that talent and you really love what they're bringing to your product, you better get ready to start shelling out some money, because I think there's going to be a big bidding war coming up on a lot of names that are starting to make their mark. And let's hope everybody's got their checkbooks out ready to write.
And that's kind of like, so we're talking about like the Julia Hart being out. And now I'm saying this with the whole, I don't want her to leave WWE. I just want to see her do something more in WWE. But somebody who I think fits the mold going right into that would be a Nikki Cross. And I think that would be such a great small kind of adjustment that I think would do very well. Plus, I think Killian Dane would do amazing in the House of Black.
Yeah.
Think about the tag team he could do with Brody King.
That would be dangerous.
Right? Killian Dane is somebody that, like, to me, it's just a crime that he is not signed by somebody.
Yeah.
He is too good, too athletic. Hell, make him remember back when they had the Legion of Doom and Hawk was like an alcoholic, and they brought in Draws to be like that third guy, or even Crush for Demolition? Why not bring Killian Dane to be the third Viking Raider? And then you can do a tag team with Nikki Cross and Van Halen.
I kind of like it. I mean, you give the idea, and it's not something that you can easily just like, shoo off to the side, because there's a way to make that work. I mean, we've seen it done before. I mean, yeah, was it a fun, heartwarming storyline that they did with the Legion of Doom and Draws? No, absolutely not. It was actually very sad and things, but it worked, and it made sense, and it explained why are we doing this. And then,
and do you notice that I use Draws over Heidenreich, by the way? I'm aware there's the other one, but
but you guys get what he's saying. And I could honestly see that. And I mean, honestly, I'm I don't know who to write. Fetch me my laptop. I'm storming, ready to write an email and throw this out there because it could make sense. And like you said, Nikki Cross, if we don't want her to leave the WWE, but you could definitely put her in an AEW situation and she could thrive. I really think that's what happened to Ruby in the WWE. It was too saturated.
I think with sometimes in WWE, there are people that are better suited to stay in NXT and have that freedom, but what they're not getting is the exposure because they're not out in different cities every night. They're not in big stadiums or, like as much as, they are on the main roster, they're on SmackDowns. But what I do think they can have is a better long-lasting attempt to get their character more connected to the audience, well known. And I think with Ruby Soho, I think when she was Ruby Riott, yeah, she was thrusted in the Riot Squad and that right away, and that had a shelf life. And it was almost just like this social, was it Outcast? So, yeah. Or is that the name? Which I kind of want to say something about. But with Ruby, it just seemed like she was always trying to figure out who she was outside of what she just did. And when she was figuring that out, the crowd was losing interest because they were seeing that as well. Or that's how I felt. But you always know there's something there. You're just trying to figure it out. And I think that's exactly where I am with Shotzi Blackheart right now. I can't connect. I kind of want to, but I just can't for whatever reason. But I mean, it's the same way for me with The Miz too. Like, I just can't connect. Like, dude, you're just soft to watch.
I know, but you gotta look at The Miz like Cal Ripken Jr. He's there.
No, I don't.
He's consistent. That's how I get through it, okay, man? That is exactly how I get through knowing that The Miz, who I watched on The Real World, is now making all this money and doing all the great things I wanted to do.
Oh, man, if we're doing that, oh, God, that's a rabbit hole I don't know if I can go to.
You don't want to. Just
no, I don't.
To rabbit.
But yeah, no, it's just, I don't know. For Nikki Cross to go over, I just think, like, I don't hate what she's doing. I just want to see more. Maybe if she was to go back to NXT and do something there, maybe part her up and be the new female with Joe Gacy, that could work. They're kind of doing something similar there. Sure, but I do think her going right into stuff with Julie Hart, Sky Blue, that just fits. I don't know. That's why Fantasy GM is fun, because you get to just pick, pot, go. Yeah. But the one thing I wanted to say about the Social Outcasts is that might have been a female group that I didn't get right off the bat. I still have no idea what its purpose was supposed to really be. Of course, I have an idea, just it didn't translate all the time. It seemed more like a Damage Control meets NWO.
Yeah.
Meets with brighter colors. But at the same time, Toni Storm ends up breaking out, becomes a bigger star. Ruby Soho is setting to be broken up, becoming a bigger star. So I can't fault the group because all it did was help elevate the people in it in a weird way, even though I don't look fondly of it. It's maybe like the 3MB of wrestling, in the sense that somehow, for whatever reason, everybody is elevated, but we can't really explain why.
Yeah. Well, honestly, I think the people came up with the idea, but the writers had no clue how to make that idea become alive. Yeah. But knowing that you have the talents that you had with it and seeing what they can do, I mean, come on, it's almost like when you're a kid, you don't like something, but you're forced to try it every dinner that it's made. You don't like it, but it's coming. You have to try it. But then all of a sudden you become an adult and you're like, you know what? That's actually not that bad. I kind of like where the evolution of it is, because you can take that base and you can build upon it. And I think that's what everybody in that group did. And honestly, to see Tony Storm be where she's at right now, and you can tell that all that she has an input on. You can tell the people working with her are understanding of where she can take this character. And I believe that's where you're getting the Ruby too right now.
Mhm.
Ruby's hitting a comfort level where she can be herself. I was just watching a tag match with her and Soraya, and when Soraya missed a clothesline and hit Ruby, the way they responded to each other was actually gripping it. It was actually like, oh shit, is this when Ruby's gonna flip the fuck out? No, they worked it out. They're going, but Ruby left that impression. It seems like she's gonna be the one who dissolves this
Yeah.
storyline, this faction. And honestly, I think it would be wise for that, because it gives Soraya that sympathy factor, which she's worked very well with having in her career, when she's trying to be babyface and things like that. But then it gives Ruby that edge that Ruby needs for that character she's trying to portray. So you really can't lose on this one unless one of them gets injured and it's cut short.
Mm.
So, and a lot of the women's storylines in the AEW is that way too. Like I'm willing to bet that out of the 3 major storylines that are going on in the women's AEW, one of those women will be out of AEW by the end of this year.
Yeah.
And they will be on to the WWE. And it wouldn't surprise me if it's not Willow.
Yeah, that's interesting. I'm gonna throw TNA kind of in the mix, because I think what they're doing is very amazing, even though there's kind of a cloud there with not understanding what's really the whole. I think there's a lot more to say about Scott D'Amore. I think he was, the rumors are coming out saying he was trying to buy the company. That didn't work out. It eventually led to his thing. Obviously more to that, but that's kind of what I've heard. I've heard Tommy Dreamer is now a part of the creative, which I think is an amazing decision.
Yeah.
I've been listening to more of him on the Busted Open podcast, and just listening to some of his ideas and the reasons why he's going about it. It's just so I can get on track with what he's saying. That's a train that I'll buy tickets for, because you're going somewhere that you want to go to. You're not going somewhere that you're just going to be like, oh, really here? No, it's so. But yeah, I think TNA is definitely a market to maybe being competitive. Obviously, money wise, I don't think they're competitive, but
yeah,
freedom and creativeness and just being, I don't know. Although I think that does change with WWE now, especially now seeing like a Jordan Grace go in as Jordan Grace with everything we knew of Jordan Grace at the Rumble, look like $1 million. And now it's like, okay, what's her next move in TNA? So that's pretty big.
And plus, that was a safe bet. Nobody was going to lose in that putting her out there in the Royal Rumble. Everybody gets to win. WWE looks like the great big promotion, helping out the smaller guys. And Jordan Grace comes out and is phenomenal, and TNA gets exposure. Everybody wins there.
Yeah, no, 100% agree with you there. Kind of switching back to finishing off Elimination Chamber, as we went on a good little 30-minute tangent about what their roster, which can't complain about that.
No, I mean,
but we also have the tag team title match at Elimination Chamber with the Judgment Day going up against Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne, who. Did you happen to catch their tag name?
I did not.
Oh boy. Well, first, I'm before we go into that tag name, what are your thoughts on the match? Because I'm gonna now. I kind of want to see if it changes your perception.
What are my thoughts on the upcoming match? The tag team coming up at Elimination Chamber? Well, Judgment Day is they're a force to be reckoned with, and they are a story that is that's leaving me wanting more, much like the Bloodline did. But Pete and Tyler together, let's be honest. This is a long-awaited thing that I didn't know I wanted.
Right.
You know, it's very shocking, and in my head, it kind of confuses me with my wanting of the Judgment Days. The continuation and things like that, because I kind of do want to see now the at least the tag division of Judgment Day get kind of depleted, and why not with Pete and Tyler? Why not? Wouldn't it be great? And then you start to see the unraveling, and this is my personal opinion. I think that if you started to get more of an unraveling with the Judgment Day, you're going to see, I would like to see a Damian Priest step up and become like a force in there, besides Rhea, being the dominant force. Because I just think Damian Priest is he's a diamond in the rough that I honestly want to see this year become his year, and I want to see him evolve, but I need him to evolve as a leader also in the Judgment Day, or be the one who leaves Judgment Day first.
Yeah, and you call him a diamond in the rough. I'm going to call him Senior Money in the Bank, because that's exactly what he is.
Yeah.
And I think that does kind of help kind of what you just said, and kind of ties in with what you said, because he still is the Money in the Bank briefcase holder. He still has that ability to cash in on a champion of choice whenever he wants. And I think this could be a very intriguing WrestleMania, because everybody's talking about other people. But what happens if at the end of the night you're talking about Damian Priest as heavyweight champion? That's something to me that completely this sideswipes you. I personally am very excited to see Judgment Day against New Catch Republic.
New Cat?
Catch.
New
like,
Catch.
Want to go play catch? Yes.
Republic.
I'm curious to see why that's the name. So,
NCR?
Yeah. So that is the name as of Friday night, what they're going by. Which I'm glad, though, that it's not Mustache Mountain 2.0. I was really hoping it was just British strong style, but maybe the New Catch Republic is a British type thing. I know the New Catch could be like, I don't know, like a wrestling style, I guess, but I don't know.
New Catch Republic.
So I'm open-minded until I find out the meaning.
Yeah.
Because I'll say this, I hated the new World Heavyweight title belt when I first saw it, but then I saw the meaning behind it, and it grew and grew and grew and grew on me, because at least I know I'm seeing something with meaning and purpose. It wasn't just thrown together like Roman's title, which is a piece of crap painted gold.
See, fans, when you come here, you get nice, evolved thinking. Your host here, we may have an opinion, but then we evolve. So you don't get that everywhere else.
And as you can tell, I like gold. It's in the color scheme. But
don't applaud him for his reasonings liking gold, people. Okay.
I like gold. It's kind of my thing.
Yeah, Goldfinger over here.
Gold member.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah.
At least we got the facts right.
Yeah. I went with the band for some reason.
And the Bond, isn't that a Bond movie as well?
It is a Bond movie too, yeah.
So yeah, no, I actually think the Judgment Day are gonna secure the win. I think they're gonna retain their titles. I have a feeling that the end goal is DIY taking the titles off them at WrestleMania. I think that is the long-term gain here. I think the whole reason why maybe you didn't see DIY win that tournament was because they want to get over the Pete Dunne, Tyler Bate tag and say, hey, no, they won a tournament. They have the capability of doing something of value in the tag division, and you're not going to lose interest on DIY if they lose. So let's do this. And then in 3 months' time now, we have New Cash Republic challenging DIY to a tag title match because they beat them in the thing. There's at least you can go back to something like that. Or at the very least, you just have a stronger tag division with some depth now, which is not a bad play if you ask me. But we have that, and I think it'd be very fitting to see Damian Priest lose the titles early on one of the nights in WrestleMania, and then finish off strong with a nice little cash in. I know that's my line of thinking on that, but I do think Judgment Day retains their titles. I think JD McDonough and Dominic Mysterio probably do something to be involved in there, or R-Truth does something. I don't know.
He proves his alliance.
I don't know, but I mean, anything with the Judgment Day, you can always find either another member of the Judgment Day or R-Truth, and sometimes both. But that's what I think could happen. And then obviously the last match we have is Nia Jax, Rhea Ripley, which, actually, we didn't really talk too much about the men's chamber match yet. We did talk a lot about the women's match and Rhea Ripley and Nia Jax.
I think it's well deserved, though. I mean,
100%.
Yeah.
I mean, but the men's match, it is for the number one contender. The winner faces Seth Rollins. I have a weird feeling that the people that we see advertised in this match are not going to be the 6 people competing on Saturday.
What do you mean by that?
I have a feeling there could be a certain authority figure with some stroke who may be able to just change one of the participants at will. And he on Friday became a member of the Bloodline. He held up the L, not the 1, the L, which is funny because I saw a meme where you have The Rock who brought up his L, and then you had the 1, and then everybody's like, it's confirmed, Zack Ryder is coming back.
The internet's funny.
It was pretty funny. But I wouldn't be surprised if on SmackDown we were basically teased with a potential Perth, Australia appearance from Roman Reigns. We know that he wants somebody to do something to Cody and Seth while they're on the Grayson Waller effect. I wonder if by chance, given everything we know about Seth wanting to help Cody fight against these two, what if it's all smoke and mirrors in the men's match? Yes, pun intended on there. And instead of, a KO versus Seth, or a Logan Paul versus Seth, or Bobby Lashley versus Seth, Drew versus Seth, LA Knight versus Seth, or Randy versus Seth, we are dealt with The Rock versus Seth Rollins for the World Heavyweight title at WrestleMania.
I don't want to see it. I'm being honest. As a Seth fan, I don't want to see it.
I'm curious to see it if it means we get something larger. Because what their big story right now is Cody and Seth against Roman and Rock.
Mm-hmm.
That was the teaser we came out, and they teased very much for a tag match, which I guess has been pitched at some point. Also, it was reported and rumored that The Rock himself is the one who pitched for the heel turn, which I want to kind of just ask you, did you get any Nation of Domination vibes on Friday?
Oh, yeah. I've been getting that from Rock for the past 2 appearances, honestly.
And isn't it amazing that the bloodline could be like the new age nation of domination.
Dude, I've been calling this for 6 months, and I didn't use the bloodline. I used Bobby Lashley and
damn
it, I'm not fucking drawing a name.
Street Profits.
Blank. Yes, Street Profits. I wanted to call them
the Pride. That's their name.
It was Street something, but it wasn't Profits. But yeah, that's what I've been pitching because I thought Bianca Belair.
I thought you called them the Mighty Profits.
Is that what they're called now?
No, I thought that's just what you called them because it's Almighty with the Street Profits.
That's probably what I did, but
yeah,
that's what the idea I was going with. But honestly, you could do that with the bloodline easily. I mean, fuck, the guy who one of the biggest features in the nation is now hanging out with you guys for the past couple of weeks. So it could be cool.
And in essence, who was the nation's biggest rival? DX, right?
Yeah.
Well, who's Rock kind of with in the company? He's cracking heads with Triple H.
Yeah. I see where you're going with this. And it just hurts my heart.
Yeah, but lately they've been rehashing past storylines and putting modern spins on, and it's not terrible.
But they just did, like, this isn't the first time that they've rehashed the DX.
I'm not saying that they'll rehash it. I'm just saying there's a potential of it.
True. Okay. Yeah.
But also, I will pose this question.
Okay.
What's a bigger marquee match for Seth Rollins, who, by the way, still wants a main event at WrestleMania? And I think a match with The Rock does that for him. And it's pretty. But what's a bigger marquee matchup? Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins versus Drew McIntyre. Seth Rollins versus Randy Orton. Seth Rollins versus anybody in the Elimination Chamber match. Or is it Seth Rollins versus The Rock?
I mean, I see what you're saying. And yeah, when you break it down money wise and things like that and what fans want, yeah, you're going to get the biggest bang for your buck between Seth and The Rock because it's the fucking Rock, and you got one of the biggest guys to date, Seth Rollins. Yeah, that's going to get money. But here's why I don't want to see it.
Please.
The reasons I don't want to see it is because I do not think Rock matches up well in the ring anymore with guys of Seth's size. I think the Rock matches up well with guys like Roman size who are able to lift him up and do those things in a more comfortable level. I might be speaking out of my element here, but from my observation, from being a fan and from sitting ringside and commentating, to me, it would be a lot easier for a guy my size or bigger to do bigger moves with me as opposed to a guy Seth's size trying to do those things. The Rock is elderly now. I'm not saying he's crippled or he's an old man, but he is elderly because of the years that he did put on his body in the ring. Yes. Does he take care of himself? 100%. He's The Rock. He's doing all that stuff, but those are the reasons I don't want to see it. But I'm one person. So will it make money? Most definitely. Will it be a big draw? Yes, 100%. But again, like, what are you going to do? You're going to bring Triple H in a way? How do you make that work?
Well, one, you can have Damian Priest cash in on that match and walk out with the title. That would be something nobody would expect. And then you possibly could add Judgment Day into the mix of going up against Bloodline in some way too, because now they've just inserted themselves.
So do you,
or you have Seth Rollins getting the big win over The Rock at WrestleMania, and you've just made Seth Rollins a larger than life star now because he just beat The Rock in a main event at WrestleMania.
Okay, I like that last part, but mix that with the first part. and Damian Priest comes out after Seth's win. He cashes in, he takes that title. Karma hits full circle around to Seth when he did that. To me, that's if you're gonna do it and you're gonna put The Rock in there versus Seth, and you want me, and let's live in reality, they're not searching just for my appreciation or anything like that. But as a fan, if you want me to invest into that storyline, that's exactly how you do it, because I would love that.
There's not going to be a little part of you that kind of wants to see the Raw after Mania, and the first thing you see is Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes coming out as champions in WWE, and they said we knew together we could take down the Bloodline, and then we have a moment of, oh my God, we could see Rock and Roman versus them tonight, and we have something big like that. And then just when we think we're getting something like that, that's when you have fucking Damian Priest and the Judgment Day come out and say, we're tired of Seth and Roman versus the Bloodline. This is the Judgment Day show.
I saved that for the following Monday.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh,
like
okay.
We go through WrestleMania. We have Seth Rollins
I see what
beat
you're saying.
The Rock.
Yes.
We have Cody Rhodes beat Roman Reigns. First scene on Monday night is what we feel like is this universal, pun intended, undisputed, pun intended change in WWE with Cody as the WWE champion, Seth Rollins as the world heavyweight champion. Together, you know, they're the two-headed dragon that can slay the two-headed monster in Roman and Rock. But then all of a sudden, it shifts into, oh my God, we're going to get this massive tag match.
Mm-hmm.
And then just when we think we're going to get this, they give you that little swerve, and then Damian Priest is like, Just like Drew McIntyre's Broken Dreams, you never hear the shot that takes you down. Damian Priest is the one that just when you thought you wanted one thing, boom, I'm taking it away. The heat on him would be a massive. He could do something larger. At that point, he can take the title off Seth. Because now you've seen the change. You've seen everything just develop. And now all of a sudden you're seeing a different type of change.
I see exactly where you're going with it. And yeah, you definitely could make that would make a huge impact. I could see that you know, just by visual standpoint, how you laid it out, that would definitely be one of the biggest shocks on a Raw after WrestleMania in a long time.
And they got to do something big at the Raw after Mania this year.
Yeah,
they have to.
And what you're saying with Seth and Cody showing up, taking down the Bloodline, yeah, that would make a big statement. And then having the Judgment Day come out, but I don't know, for some reason when you say that, I think back to like that would be a big statement, but what would be devastating for like for more storyline out of it is if Cody's the only champion standing there, and then when Bloodline comes out, they're like, no, we told you we're taking over, and it started with you, Seth. And Damian Priest is standing there with that title, no more money, senior money in the bank. And then the Judgment Day just starts picking them off. Everybody just taking title after title.
Mm-hmm.
But no, you're probably more accurate with what's going to happen. If I'm sitting here and I'm thinking of a logical way to do it, the way you laid it out would probably be more storyline effective. It would be more getting those fans gotcha moments and things like that. So yeah, I like what you laid out there, Perish.
Well, thank you. I'm just, I think as soon as you see a visual of that WWE championship on somebody other than Roman Reigns, and if by chance you have Seth Rollins, despite every obstacle he had. When you talk about Rock being a broken down, well, Seth Rollins is pretty broken down himself too.
Yeah. No, you are. You're right.
And just to kind of go back to that, Matt, I think what The Rock needs right now, he can't go a million miles an hour, but what he can do is grab somebody that can. And it's a very much a styles clash of Shawn versus like a Diesel or something like that, because you don't want Rock tearing a quad. You don't want him like doing a sequence where he just isn't up to snuff with it. He just can't perform it. But you can have Seth Rollins do all the work. It's like a typical he's your bump man, right?
But if you have heel Rock, do we get Mankind versus The Rock, where The Rock just beat the hell out of Mankind?
I don't think you need that. No, you won't have that because they won't book Seth Rollins that way. It'll be more Brock Lesnar Triple H versus Seth Rollins type, in the sense there will be a beat down, but you'll see Seth always fighting back. That's been his aura. That's been kind of who he's been as champion. Despite what's put up against him, he still finds a way to fight back all the time. And that's why he is where he is, because he continues to fight. Even when he shouldn't, he still fights because that's all he knows how to do. And I think that's that's now the reign he has as champion. You're getting that even more so in just that one match. And I think that's amazing because Rock comes in, he's trying to pick up the pieces. That is what he thinks is a broken Seth Rollins. What he doesn't realize is that every piece that Seth Rollins shows you is broken, he knows how to put back together on the spot, because he is that architect that The Rock may have forgotten about. He is that visionary because he visioned that The Rock is going to take that easy way out and just assume it. I think there's ways around it, and I actually think the more I dive into what Seth Rollins is, baiting somebody like The Rock might actually make sense.
I like it.
But I don't know, because at the same time, I kind of want to see Drew McIntyre do something big. Drew McIntyre is the only Raw guy in the match. There's actually 4 heels and 2 baby faces, 4 baby faces and 2 heels in the match. It's another reason why I thought The Rock getting involved, taking out a baby face, and I was thinking LA Knight or KO to be one of those guys. But I mean, not too sure.
No, but it makes a lot of sense. I mean, you've laid it out. We have a week to go. So this week will definitely play out, and we'll see exactly where we land. And honestly, if you're a fan of ours and you listen to that presentation of what could happen and how Perish sees it happening, there's not much I can argue with. I'm trying to find a spot to argue with you, and I can't.
Yeah. But it's interesting, man, because like we're narrating what we think could happen. We're probably going to get something completely different, and we're still going to like it because that's all wrestling is right now, is stuff that we really do like at the end of the day. Like, even though we try to find a way to criticize or nitpick, we enjoy it. We just don't tweet it.
Exactly.
What's that thing going on? We're wrestling fans. We never tweet our real opinions. We only tweet the negative ones.
Yeah, I like that.
We're wrestling fans. Of course, we can fantasize the product better than the people who actually know what they're doing.
That's fantastic.
IWC, you're dumb. But we're talking this life with wrestling, and we're talking with glee. We have to sadden the story right now, because we're now living a life without football.
That is true.
Last week, the Kansas City Chiefs, they were the better team against San Francisco 49ers. blows my mind that they did not know the rules of overtime in the playoffs. But yeah. All I can say is, we kind of said it on the podcast. You don't ever question playoff Pat.
That was definitely definitely brought up multiple times throughout the playoff coverage.
I want
Yeah,
playoff Pat to be a thing.
it is. I mean, we can critique all we want. We can say that there was blown calls like the illegal man downfield on that last play, but those are just things that we'll be bitching about. So congratulations to Kansas City. You guys pulled it off. You went down to the wire, got your touchdown. You won the game overall. Back-to-back championships. Been a long time since we've seen that, and kind of cool that this young dynasty has done those things. I don't know. I'm kind of up in the air where Kelsey. You think Kelsey's going to be there next year?
Oh, I do. I
You
100%
do?
think he is. Yeah.
Okay.
I think we're going to see almost the exact same team coming back. The one thing I do want to get into is, and I want to get your opinion on this, I think the San Francisco 49ers made one big mistake in the playoffs. And I think it was a crucial one that I think when you look at it, even in the moment, I did not understand why they didn't call a timeout on their third down right before they kicked the field goal. It just felt like that was a time you wanted and you had to get the play you wanted to get off. And it just felt like you needed to calm things down. Brock Purdy, I think, had a very underrated season this year. I don't think the moment got to him. I don't think anything like that. But I do think what did happen is that play got out of their control.
Yeah.
And I think I got out of their control because they didn't manage the situation the right way. And I think the coach needed to understand that and rectify it, call that timeout, get that playoff they needed to, because if you don't get that playoff, you are giving the ball back to Patrick Mahomes in overtime at the Super Bowl to win the game. So that is a very crucial play. And that play ended up being rushed. It did not get executed, and it created a field goal. And I thought that was a gigantic missed opportunity by San Francisco, because that could have made or break your game. That could have got you a touchdown, which then would have made it that just added that difficulty to the Chiefs with that next possession, because now they have to get a touchdown instead of the choice of a field goal or a touchdown, which changes your way. It changes the desperation level. It changes your mentality. It's 4 downs every time, sure, but they're going for it. What they're doing. So I think, to me, that was the big mistake that San Francisco made. I don't think they made many. A lot of people said that extra point that they didn't get was a big factor. And I said it actually saved them when you think about it, because now that next possession allowed Kansas City to not go for a touchdown and play it safe with the field goal. And I think you ran the risk of Patrick Mahomes' offense and Andy Reid coached offense not getting that while they were starting to feel it at that time. And I didn't like if they got a touchdown there, I didn't like the chances of the 49ers with a minute left on the clock trying to go for a touchdown. I just didn't. They weren't moving the ball well in the second half.
No, they weren't. I mean, that second half completely destroyed them. But I will butt up against to what you're saying about it not making a difference, which I understand what you're saying, because, you're giving the ball to Patrick Mahomes and telling him, just instead of playing it safe, we'll take him over in overtime. Let's go for that. They would probably have gotten that touchdown. But
they could have. They definitely could have.
And that team, if you're in Vegas, you're placing that bet that they're going to get that touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
But in the same sense, like I discussed with NBA players, things like that. When you're at the free throw line, you make your free throws no matter what. When you're a kicker, you kick the ball between the yellow things at the end of the goal. You just do that. That's what you do. Every single time you go out there, you do your job. For
The
some
guy made
reason,
3 50-yard field goals. I think he did his job quite well.
well, he did do very well, but
He put up more points than the quarterback did.
Well, he did, but you still make those kicks no matter what. You make them. And here's the thing. You just do it to add that pressure because, yes, am I going to lay my money that Patrick Mahomes and them are going to score a touchdown in that scenario? Of course, that's what I'm going to do. But there's always that chance that they don't. Did we not see one of the last teams to try to do back-to-back? You had the guarantee beast mode right behind you, just going, give me the ball. When are you going to give me the ball? I just need the ball. And what happened? They didn't give him the ball. Everybody was expecting it. He was going to get that touchdown. What are you doing? You just do that. You do your job. You get paid money to do your job. And like you said to that coaching staff, when you know that it would be way more beneficial to take that time out, you step up because you're the coach. You're the guy that everybody has to answer to. So you take that time. You don't sit there and take a younger team and go, you know what, fellas, I really believe in you this year. Let's do it. No, sometimes you have to take that out of their hands because as good as Purdy is and as great of a career he's going to have in those moments. Exactly. If you don't have that experience, you need somebody who does to take that moment out of your hands and let you allow you to breathe, allow you to take that time to go, okay, guys, we can do this. It's simple. It's just you're giving your players the best opportunity in those moments. Patrick and Mahomes and all them, they don't need to do that because they've been there so many damn times.
That's the standard now for them.
Yeah, exactly. They know. And just like Andy Reid didn't lose his mind when Kelsey came over and berated him with Kelsey's bullshit. He didn't do any of that. He didn't. I mean, if you were watching Twitter, Tyreek Hill came out and goes, huh, that's weird. If I would have done that, they would have kicked me off the team pretty fucking quickly. And which he's got a valid point. I mean, what the hell? Tyreek Hill, I would have kept him. But past that. Anyways, we're at the moment we are now. So you have to understand. And when you're in those moments, San Francisco, take that time out. Take that out of the guy's hands and give your team the best opportunity they could have for a win, a Super Bowl win.
Sometimes it's not what they do on the field that's amazing and better than their opposition. It's how they manage the situations that the game provides and how do they put themselves at the forefront of that situation opposed to behind it. And I think that's something that you saw the Patriots do exceptionally well, and what you're seeing the Kansas City Chiefs do exceptionally well, and thus creating these dynasties of the teams. Now, Tyreek Hill, yes, you may have been right, but also they've won more Super Bowls without you than with you now. So if I was you, shut up and win some with Miami and then talk.
Yes.
Results
Bring one
matter.
to Miami, man. That would be so
because
epic.
As a Saints fan, apparently just having the lead in all the yards that matter for a quarterback doesn't make you a great quarterback. It's all about the results of rings now, apparently, in a team sport, which blows my mind. But it is. I mean, that's not a conversation I want to get involved with.
I was so surprised your Saints didn't take Hill.
Probably didn't have the money to. Dude, we're like $1 billion over the cap when the season ends, so we have to go full U.S. Parliament and try to trim and try to like wiggle our way to a point where you know.
Your center is going to be the water boy from last year.
we have a good center. Our center was
I
in the Pro
know,
Bowl.
but can you afford him?
Well, he's not a free agent.
We got to make cuts, boys. Who's willing to take...
Honestly, if anything, Michael Thomas is out the door. We might trade Lattimore. People are going to restructure their deals like crazy, like they always do. Taysom Hill's probably going to like make a penny this year and do everything. So that's just who he is. Yeah, they'll find a way. They always do. Mickey Loomis always finds a way. Doesn't help us later, but he finds a way for the now.
That's where we live.
We gotta just eat the bullet one year and just realize it. But whatever, it is what it is. But yeah, I mean, I don't think San Fran played a bad game. In fact, they gave themselves a chance to stay in the game all the time until the overtime, and they limited their chance. And I thought that was the mistake. They didn't maximize their scoring chance. And in overtime, you got to maximize your scoring chances, man. That's exactly the time and place to do it.
Yeah.
And so, well, I mean, it is what it is.
Congratulations to Kansas City for shutting down Kittle.
Yeah.
I mean, they shut him down.
They did, but what I loved was the analysis on Kittle at halftime. And what Kittle was able to do, even though he wasn't getting receptions, he was blocking and creating holes for the run game. He was doing a lot of other things, which I liked, until I saw the one video of him trying to make a freaking joke. And by doing that, he took his attention away from a fumble that he could have gotten. And I'm like, holy crap, dude, shut the fuck up and be focused, please. That's what separates you from a Travis Kelce. Yeah, Travis Kelce might look like a little baby when he's yelling at his coach, but he's dialed in tenfold in the game. He's bitching about not playing more. He's not making a stupid joke in the middle of a play to the other team and forgetting that the ball is capable of being in your hands in possession.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but that pissed me off. As somebody that, I was wanting to see if the 49ers could slay Kansas City. And when I saw that, I'm just like, man. And then Kittle, sorry, but you gave me 5 fantasy points 5 different times this year. Shut the fuck up. Sam Laporta overtook you on being a better tight end.
Yeah, Kittle. I'm out here trying to, talk good about you, and then damn it, I hear all this nonsense you've been doing on people's fantasy leagues.
Shut up, George.
Yeah.
Screw your jungle.
Yeah. George can't stand you.
Yeah. What do you got to say about that?
Yeah. And let us know if you do watch it, George Kittle, because we will highlight the shit out of it.
But if you want to be on the podcast, you're more than welcome.
Yeah, we'll talk to you, man. We'll be
we got
very
two
respectful.
We got 2 out of the 3 49er colors.
So just jump on in.
We got black and gold. They have white too. Okay. We out of the 4 San Fran colors.
Well, on my screen, the live is all red.
Yeah, they don't get that on the. That's only for us.
No, I do.
Yeah, I got it too, but I mean. No. If you want red, check out my face of anger from when Kittle you left up.
You did.
But yes, no, it was okay. I gotta ask though, what did you think of the halftime show? Did you like it, or did you just say, "Hey, 30 years ago called, they want their talent back"?
You know what? I didn't mind it, honestly. I like Usher. I've followed him since he started. I mean, he was actually here in my area. He was actually a pretty big thing when he started out. I did like the fact that the girl that was playing guitar, I don't know if you know this, but when she was 11, she sung the national anthem there. And then it came full circle, and that was a 49ers game also. That lady is actually her, H-E-R, her. That's and one of my daughters, one of her favorite artists. So it was cool to see her play guitar. And then, my wife be able to tell her about Usher more than what she knows of him now. We got to explain where he started, how young he was, and where he came from. So it was kind of cool. It was actually very, as you alluded to, nostalgic. They definitely hit on those notes of capturing the people who were fans of them when we were younger. Ludacris coming out and being Ludacris. Little John, come on. One of the biggest hype man ever since Flavor Flav, and he looks fantastic, man. That dude looks healthy as shit, and he's still doing his thing. You have to understand Usher has a residency out there in Vegas. He does this stuff all the time. He has big performances and everything like that. I'm glad he did not use some of the people that were there in attendance to be a part of it. It honestly was it was a cool moment. Yes, did Alicia Keys mess up the first couple notes? Yeah, but who cares? It's still Alicia Keys. She can still play the hell out of a piano. It was a fun moment. I hope there's more like that coming up, because I remember as a kid, all my parents' favorite artists were the halftime shows. So it was like all country older guys and things. Like every once in a while we got Prince, we got Michael Jackson, which Prince's halftime show is still the number one halftime show ever. But yeah, in a long drawn out explanation, I thought it was a well put together halftime show, way better than a lot of the ones. I was very happy that there was no direct in your face message thrown in our face. It was just entertainment. Let's have a moment where we just enjoy 13 minutes of entertainment.
Yeah, it was weird. I'm not gonna lie, it wasn't my cup of tea. I was never a pop or R&B or whatever. That wasn't just my genre. I get it. Part of me was like, is there not anybody more current that you could put on that could put on a good show like that?
No. Have you seen the artists out these days?
No, I listen to what I listen to. I don't listen to what's trendy.
Dude, don't pollute your ears with that crap.
Yeah, no, I don't. I just go back on Spotify where I can watch all past episodes of the Chris Perish podcast. Yeah, shameless plug. But no, it's just also like, I don't know, the demographic of football fans. I would be very curious to see what they prefer on their playlist and wonder how much does that differ from what we get at halftime shows. That is something I'd be very curious to see. But
can I pose a question for you on this one?
Yes.
With all the newfound Swifties joining us this year for the Super Bowl.
Yes.
Can you see where they would play to that type of female audience watching?
To be fair, they always have, though, with the exception of a couple years. I don't think Janet Jackson and Justin Timberlake attracted hard-hitting alpha male fans, but the ripping of the costume did.
Yeah, they were definitely checking that out.
But yeah, I don't know. Obviously, when they did the rap stuff last year, that definitely took a completely different side of things. Or it wasn't last year; it was a few years back. It was the year with Cincinnati in there, I believe, right?
I think so.
Because I believe that was the year McPherson just stayed out and watched it.
Yeah.
Which was quite funny. But yeah, no, like I don't know. Like, but also, Swifties, if you're new age football fans, shut up.
They're not.
I
fans.
like number 87 in the red team. At least learn the team names, please.
Don't. Just don't even come over to our area for entertainment.
Please
Stay
don't
where
cheer.
you're at.
Yeah, please don't cheer for the Saints. I still want to despise you on my football screen. This is the only time I'm going to cheer Kirk Cousins. If he plays against the Chiefs, he scores a touchdown, he points up to Taylor and be like, "You like that?" Might be the only time I'm like, yeah.
You're horrible.
What? I like competition. It's better than every time Patrick Mahomes ran for 2 yards. They're like, "Oh, here's Taylor and what she thought."
First off,
yeah, because Travis wasn't doing anything in the first half. That's why he was yelling at his coach.
For you to think that Kirk Cousins would have the marbles in his head left to be able to point.
That's all he ever had was marbles in his head.
Yeah, but there's fewer marbles from when he started. Let me tell you. So, but it would be humorous. I would giggle.
Yeah, that's why I said.
Oh, that's good. That's
like
good.
who else would do something like that has like a funny catchphrase in football?
All the other ones are retired.
Yeah, so like he's the only one currently that I would know. And it'd be so random that would be hilarious.
Do you see Kansas City going next year?
Nope. Football was like, all I know is like as soon as the Super Bowl ends, that's when my keeper league opens trades up again. So I was like, yeah, cool. This is my thing. And then it's like, okay, the draft is in like a month or so, or just a little over a month. Now it's like, okay, what do we do? What do my boys do now? Who do we trade? Who do we draft?
Nothing.
Oh, we got to do something, or else we ain't. We're like I said, like $1 billion over the cap. We got to do something.
Just don't even acknowledge it.
No, I will.
If you don't open up,
I will
the
throw
mail,
my L up like The Rock. I acknowledge it.
If you don't open up the mail, the bills don't count.
Yeah. Well, Mama doesn't know, can't hurt her, right?
Well, she doesn't know. It will never hurt her.
Yeah. Oh, I watched The Waterboy not too long ago too.
Excellent movie.
When I was 13 years old, wanted to get a tattoo of Roy Orbison on my ass. Well, Mama doesn't know, can't hurt her.
Well, that's one of them. I told my daughters to download for their trip. I was like, you should watch this on your little trip. It'll be fun. They were like, no, I'm not watching this. So,
if you were to guess, what part am I eating? I'm going to guess his knee. Oh. Oh, there's part of me that always wanted to see The Waterboy 2. That would have been a fantastic piece of crap.
Yeah. I remember going to the theaters and seeing The Waterboy when it came out.
That was a good movie.
It was
of all the football movies Adam Sandler did, I mean, Longest Yard, Waterboy. I mean, I guess he did two, but he did the betting on the sports with Uncut Gems, which is amazing.
Yeah.
Do you know, for the most part, he's always played basketball in some way, shape, or form in most of his movies?
Mm-hmm. He goes out and plays pickup basketball in New York all the time.
I know. He's quite good.
Yeah. He's definitely way more than what our parents told us he was ever going to be when he was on Saturday Night Live. I remember my mom, she hated him. She just absolutely thought he was annoying as hell. She didn't think he was funny. And then I was like, Mom, he's going to be one of the greatest comedians ever. And she's like, you're dumb. Richard Pryor is the greatest comedian ever. It's like, okay, yeah, whatever. Yeah. Time is telling.
And then now we have Happy Madison Productions.
Yeah. I mean, the dude, he makes money in his butt. Like the dude and now he's got his kids getting into movies. So the continuation of Happy
Wife was in
Madison.
a lot of the movies, especially the
Yeah.
grown-up movies.
Yeah. So like, and he took care of all of his friends from when he
Yep.
started. So you gotta tip your hat to a guy like that. That
Just
makes
give.
sure everybody eats.
But yeah, now that we live life without football on Sundays, as I'm watching February 13th edition of NXT, because that's what's on my TV. Usually it's a football game. We kind of head towards that draft. Your team happens to have a few draft picks.
Yeah.
What are your hopes of your Chicago Bears this year?
They get us an offensive line. I don't think you need to disrupt Fields right now. I think why continue the look, we're in the same era of insanity where we keep doing the same thing over and over and over again, expecting different results. Yeah, you're gonna get quarterbacks you may have picked them for some reason, and because of your system, they have changed, but you can build around to what they change into and make them a feature player. There's other teams that would take Justin Fields in a heartbeat and throw him out there and let him run and let him do his thing. Do I want to see him run all the time? Fuck no. But the only reason he's running all the time nowadays is because he has no line to protect him. So he does not want to get hit for the lame ass play that you are trying to force him to get done. You have to most definitely get a line this year. Get somebody who is going to protect him. I'm still pissed at you guys for getting rid of Montgomery. Just to be completely honest with you guys, that really upset me when you got rid of Montgomery, because where's he? He's at the Lions now, right? Look at the Lions' career this past season.
We didn't get rid of Montgomery.
The running back?
Yeah, we didn't get rid of him.
No, we did.
Oh, we did. Well, because you like the way you said it. Okay, the way you said it meant like I thought you were talking to me about it. I'm like, what?
No. I mean, the Bears got rid of Montgomery.
Yeah,
David Montgomery back there, one of the best small running backs out there. I mean, he was doing well. I don't think Justin Fields is the problem. I think I think his inexperience and his inability to have people around him to give him that guidance, to give him that protection, is what causes the most of his downfalls.
One thing I'm just always just stunned with is you get somebody that you have in your system. They understand your system. They understand how things work. They've shown that there are times where they're very, very productive in that system. And then you just, because of results and not, hey, let's look on why we lost. Let's look and see, okay, why this guy's not consistent. You just make a change. And then you have those same problems with the next guy and then the next guy. And then you realize, oh, yeah, it's because of this. Because for whatever reason, we just like this guy a lot, or we can't explain to why we drafted quarterbacks 3 years in a row. But the last time I checked, if you're able to provide time for your quarterback, he's going to make a more educated play with the ball.
Yeah.
And if he has the skill set to do that, it's going to work more than it won't. So yeah, that's just it. Like my thing is like if you want to finish the work on the O-line, I don't think you need to do it with pick 1 or what's the other one? What's the other pick you have? Like 8?
I believe so, 8 or 9.
Something like that. I believe you pick somebody value of like a Marvin Harrison Jr. You give him another weapon. If there's a stud on the O-line that you can get at 8, yes, grab him. But if there's nobody that's like stand out, trade down, collect more picks, and then do it by committee on that point. I do not understand. Like the Patriots do this a lot. They trade down almost all the time. And all they did is you just see like, oh, 3 years later, like, oh, they got this guy, because they just drafted him in the 2nd, the 3rd, the 4th round. Like people criticize Green Bay a lot for not drafting wide receivers, and now they have an amazing wide receiver depth because of the way they drafted. And they drafted 2nd, 3rd, 4th rounds on guys. And they drafted linemen all the time. Why? Because why do they always have quarterbacks that just are awesome? They protect them.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, go figure, right? The last time we checked, if we have a healthy quarterback, we always have a chance of winning a game.
Yeah, you got a greater chance. That guy that touches the ball 90% of the game.
Yeah. So, let's just not have an O-line and let our amazing number 1 pick in Joe Burrow just get sacked 40 times a night. That'd be great.
Smart play.
No wonder why he's always getting hurt every other year, if not every year.
Yeah.
And eventually we'll happen to Josh Allen too. I guarantee it. I guarantee you that guy is going to either break a bone in the next 3 years, and his play is going to drastically change as a result of it. Or tear. Tearing is always something that's a big thing in football. But yeah, I mean, I know for the Saints, like we don't know if Ryan Ramczyk is going to be fine. That's a big blow to our offensive line. Do we need more offensive weapons? No. Is it nice? Sure. Who doesn't want to have the firepower of Mario when he gets that flower and go just crazy? Sure, that's great, but it's also nice to have stability and not have our quarterback take a hit every play. It'd be nice to have our defense aggressive enough to get the sack. Like sometimes the best pick in the draft isn't that flashy offensive stud that can play wide receiver or running back. It's that fat 300-pound guy that just protects you.
Yeah. No, you're 100 on that one. It's exactly what I was saying about the Bears. They need to get.
Like you want your defense to be hard to play against. You want your offense to allow you opportunity to extend a play. That's really the number 1 things on both. And if you can do that, you're probably going to win more games than lose. Unless your players just really suck.
It's always a possibility.
I mean, is it always intriguing when you see like a Joe Flacco go to Cleveland and somehow just ball out? Weird.
Flacco.
Because they have offensive line in Cleveland.
They're the Browns.
No. That they are. But I don't know. If by chance the Chicago Bears do draft a quarterback,
yeah,
I'm gonna pose this one out. If they trade Fields for say a 2nd and a 3rd, hypothetically, and they use that 2nd and 3rd, provide and get like better help at the offensive line, and they do something like that, is there any quarterback you would want if you had to switch? Because I'm with you. I think it's silly, at least for this year, to move away from Fields.
Honestly, no, there's not a quarterback I'd want to do that with because you have to think about that. Not only are you getting a new quarterback, but you're getting a new person you have to teach what's happens inside your program. You have a new person you have to get the steps down with. You have a new person you have to do all this extra stuff with when you could just have a line that can go into natural thing. What are you going to do? You're going to block. Oh, okay. That's what I've been doing. I can do that. Oh, but this play, we're going to have you step 2 steps over here and you're going to shoot at an angle. Oh, I can do that too. I've done that, as opposed to a quarterback where you're like, in this situation, we have to think about the sweep. We have to think about this guy's going to be running a hook. Oh no, you need to change that when you see this defense line up like this. Like there's so much more you have to go into that it's not beneficial to the team as a whole because secret time, this is a team sport. I don't know if you know that, but it is. Yeah, so you
Shut the front
definitely
door.
you have to work as a team. So if you're going to take a quarterback, I don't know, what's that kid's name? Caleb? Sure, give us him.
Caleb Williams.
Yeah, sure,
See,
give us him.
I think he's going to be a bust.
He's going to be.
I think Drake May is a better quarterback. I like Bo Nix. I even like JJ McCarthy. I just don't think he fits what you guys want. And I honestly think the Chicago fan base is going to eat him up. I think you need somebody who's tough, like very tough. He can take the criticism if things don't go well, but he's also a fighter because that's to me that just explains not only the fan base but really the team itself. Like you need guys that they can take a hit, but they know how to fight. You want a Ben Roethlisberger on your team. That's the quarterback of the Chicago Bears. Like that's a guy. So yeah, I don't really know. I just think Drake May is a better prospect. I think that he's going to become a better quarterback. If I was selecting first and I'm taking a quarterback, it's Drake May 100%. But I think with you guys having a Justin Fields, it is very silly not to grab him. The son of a living legend in Marvin Harrison Jr. Like that guy is just going to be an absolute stud. Now you have a two-headed monster with him and DJ Moore. You have Cole Kmet, who's just finding his groove and really becoming a force on the tight end. You don't have bad running backs.
No,
you don't have Montgomery. Khalil Herbert is a great young back.
But imagine him and Montgomery together.
Yeah. Who's the second guy you have for the running back? He's not.
Dude, look, week 16, I quit thinking about the Bears just because the headache is gone.
Don't worry, we'll get that. But yeah, I mean, as you said, like just grabbing that, the offensive line, protecting your quarterback, giving him the time to do it, and it's Roschon Johnson.
Foreman.
Huh?
Dante Foreman?
No, I was thinking of Roschon Johnson.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Yeah, I like him. He is very good. But you kind of have that 1-2 punch there. So why not? Like it, I don't know. Like I kind of dig the whole trade down from 8 and really just get multiple picks out of that and go that route. And it's exactly what I was kind of like. I hope for the Saints. Like if I don't want to trade Marshawn Lattimore, but if I do think we can get a late first round out of that. And if that's the case, I'm drafting an offensive lineman to replace Ryan Ramczyk, who may or may not be playing next year.
Yeah. Dude, I'm sorry. I was looking at the Bears lineup and I got to Rasheem Green's picture that they're using. The dude's eyes are like looking at two different things. And it's just like
it's that added rock promo where you got one eye looking one way and you got the I look in the other way, and the Rock just comes in and slaps them both into.
It's insane.
But yeah, I'm gonna get early prediction. Give me a team who you think is going to be the winner of night 1 of the NFL draft.
Winner of night 1. Night 1, they only do
The
the
first
round, right?
Because last year it was the Houston Texans by a long shot.
You know, I think this is going to be a kind of an out there pick, but I think the Seahawks are going, because the only reason I say that is because I think that they are still hungry for more titles, and they know where they were a few years ago. And I think they're trying to build to get back to that championship form. So I think that they could definitely sneak something out in the first round.
Okay. I mean, right now they are picking 16 overall. I would not be shocked if that's where they pick a quarterback.
I mean, there's decent picks this year, right?
Yeah. This is it's going to be a very. There's a lot of good weapons out there. There's a lot of good linemen. It's the first kind of year where I don't see like a heavy running back right out of the gates. There are some, but they're not better than the QBs or the wide receivers. Like a Romeo Dunze, that guy's going to be. If that guy goes to a team where they have a quarterback that likes to push the needle, that's going to be a scary player to play against.
Yeah.
Malik Neighbors is going to be a very good wide receiver for someone. I think that guy could be Michael Thomas 2.0, if you really ask me. So
that's a big statement, my friend.
Yeah, just without maybe all the knee injuries, but yeah, like I don't know, like it's very intriguing to me, kind of what will happen. I think Bo Nix in 5 years is going to be the best quarterback in this draft. And I think Dre May could be the best immediate quarterback coming out of this draft, with Caleb Williams being the most. He has all the tools to be the most, but usually now we're not seeing. I think he's going to have a hard time figuring out at the pro level. And I think if he goes to a team, as we have Bubba Duke coming in, it's an afternoon, gents. Hello, Bubba Duke. How are you doing? I think if Caleb Williams goes to Chicago, he's going to have the same problems as Justin Fields. Even tenfold. No, but like he doesn't have the experience level of Justin Fields. He doesn't understand the system like Justin Fields does. He's going to have additional problems along with similar problems. I think if he goes to Washington, he's not gonna. I think he's gonna have a hard time understanding that he has playmakers on that team. Like, does he use his running backs the way Sam Howell does? Does he use Terry McLaurin the way Terry McLaurin should? Does he use Logan Thomas in the right way? Who knows? Like, I don't know. I like kind of Washington staying with Sam Howell, to be quite honest. I think he's 23 years old. He had just shy of 4,000 yards in his rookie year. You can clean up the turnovers easily. He's 1 year in now, better with the system. He's a lot more comfortable, and I think that's better. Just work with the guy. I think patience with quarterbacks is a lost art with teams. They want either instant results or they don't want them at all.
Yeah. I mean, they think that these guys are just coming out of college and that they're just ready to go. And, you know, there's other elements that hit these guys. I mean, you're playing dude, you're playing for people who are willing to get into fights
Yeah.
because somebody says something ridiculous about your team. I mean, I'm from an area that there's certain teams you don't talk bad about because somebody might hit you real quick. Unless they know you, you don't talk shit about their teams. So, you know, I honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if Caleb turns out a bust. We've seen it with some of the biggest quarterbacks to come out in the past 10 years that you think are going to do amazing things, and then come to find out that they're not really anything. I mean, Manziel, Tim
Trubisky,
Tebow,
Ryan
Trubisky.
Leaf.
Yeah,
I mean, in
yeah,
a real way, like even though his on field when he played, it was amazing, but he didn't end up being a thing. Andrew Luck, yes,
yeah,
like
he left.
yeah. Bubba Duke, we say hi to your little girl.
Hello, little one, little Bubba Duke,
Bubba Duquette.
Bubba Duquette. But yeah, you know what I miss? I miss Warren Moon. Bring him back.
Yeah.
Well, like you really can't. I mean, he would be not able to play. But you know what? A guy like him, I liked Warren Moon when he played. I remember getting his football cards. I'd always hold those back. I would never take them to school to trade.
I bet you I've seen him live more times than you have.
Oh, probably.
He played in the CFL in our city.
Man, I'm Perish. I'm special. Josh just randomly brings out a quarterback that he liked, and I got to see him.
He also follows me on X.
Yeah, I heard you. I just wanted to acknowledge it.
Well, you know, get it again. Now you did, so I win.
Yeah, you won.
But yeah. No, it's gonna be fun. And I know when we get closer to the draft, we'll probably talk a lot more about it, the nerdy stuff that a lot of people we'll find a way to push our viewers out when we talk NFL draft.
Yeah. We'll be more prepared too. Let's just say this was one of our first weeks where we didn't really have to talk football. So it was like nobody really prepared for football talk.
To be honest, we don't really prepare. We just talk.
Yeah.
I mean,
I do look up some things.
Yeah. But yeah. Speaking of looking up, how about we look up where we can find everyone? And I'll start with you there. Where can the people find Joshua Joseph? And try not using the ticker as a cop-out.
Well, you can always find me out there on Twitter. It is JJ _ the voice 64. My Twitch, you can find me. I'm there Mondays and Friday nights. Monday night, tomorrow night, is the Raw recap and preview show, and special guest will be the one, the only Chris Perish. We are going to have the 3 subjects that we talked about, the recap from the previous Raw, and the 3 previews that are coming up for major storylines. And that is co-hosted by the one, the only Bubba Duke. So come check us out tomorrow at 7 p.m. And remember, we do raid out to the Raw Patrol. So what that does, and let me explain that to people who don't know, but when you're on Twitch and you do that, we send you directly to these guys. All you have to do is on your screen, you'll see when I do it, it'll say raid now. You click that button and you will get sent right to the Raw watch along. And it helps. It helps in the whole algorithms and things like that and the stats of our Twitch. Also, Fridays, you can catch me on my solo podcast where I do Deep Fried Fridays, and we talk about anything that interests me. Right now, I am interested on Colts. So we will be discussing Colts this week, this Friday at 8 p.m. You can catch that on all of my social networks. And catch me out on Facebook as Joshua Joseph HCW. you can catch me on there, find all the things I do, all the friends that I have, and I share all their stuff and what they're doing. It's a pretty central place to catch up on some really cool things. And one last thing for the Raw preview recap show, we will be having a special announcement coming up in the next episode, not the Perish episode, but the one after that. We're adding something to the show, and we think with the amount of positive feedback we got, you guys will like it.
Awesome. And of course, you can follow me on the X at Chris Perish. You can follow me on my Instagram and my threads at chris.perish. My Twitch is obviously has a good chunk of you are on. We will be writing out to the Chugs. Not a lot of people on, so why not give it to somebody who I'm a fan of? And he's a very positive person on Twitch. Go say hi, go support, and let him know who sent you. It was the Chris Perish podcast. As that will be happening shortly. Follow me on my YouTube, as some of you are at Chris Perish. Make sure you like, follow, subscribe, all that good stuff. We appreciate it. It does help out the channel. Just like going to rogueenergy.com, using that promo code PERISH, PERISH, it helps us, but it also helps you, as it gives you 10% off all orders. The larger we get, the larger our discount gets. So if you want to help us become Rogue Energy affiliates, we can maybe bump that 10 to 20%. So let's try to bump that up to 20%, shall we? And then, yeah, thank you to everybody on Facebook coming in and leaving those thumbs up, those heart emojis. I appreciate that very much. So please keep liking, following, all that good stuff. We appreciate it. We know we can't do this without everybody here in the chat. We appreciate that. We will be rating out to the Chugs now. So all the people on Twitch have been rated out to the Chugs. And for myself, Chris Perish, for the voice Joshua Joseph, we will see you tomorrow for the Raw recap and preview show. I will see you for the Raw Patrols working title routine check, where we pretty much watch and react to the Monday Night Raw there. And also next week, back here for episode 12. Should be fun because we'll be talking Elimination Chamber for sure on that one,
sure,
and the results. So yeah, for the meantime, the right now, the later, we say thank you, appreciate you, love you guys. And also a reminder, we say, oh, Bulkster, whoop, whoop, made it. Yep, but we're leaving. So
yeah, nerd.
Sorry, man. But the last off, we'll just say, go Saints. I wanna pull the string.